And hello everyone, welcome to the Mole Hole. This is a very special one. It's the last video for DCember. Whoop!
Woo!
And joining me for this one is Anastasia Lazerbeam,
Hello.
James Phoenix,
Hello.
and our special guest Marcus Shadow.
Yellow.
And we're going to be reviewing the New 52 Supergirl Volume 1, Last Daughter of Krypton, which, according to it, which I have in my hand, was done by Michael Green, Mike Johnson, and Mahmoud Assar. Hope I'm saying that one right, but still.
Sounds right to me.
Which, yeah, it was basically... This was the story of Supergirl being obviously introduced to the New 52 continuity. It was the story of her basically discovering who she was in terms of Earth, finding out about her cousin, and then establishing some new villains and stuff, which it was pretty fun. So let's go into the heart of it, which would be the main story. What did you guys think about the story?
I like the story, and I feel like her reactions were very realistic at the time. Like, she was not, oh, I guess I'll accept this weird situation now and just go along with it because plot. No, it was like, hold the fuck, what is going on? Like, time out, no, WTF here. Like, this is not okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was very realistic reactions. Even with Superman, she was like, no, I don't accept this.
Yeah, I will say I thought it was a little weird. I don't know if you guys would agree, because the New 52 ones have gone into the same format, really, as Marvel's Ultimate series did, and comics have started to shift to this. Of the individual, like every 6 issues is one whole story. Is one whole story, and it's designed that way so you can pick up the trade paperbacks, and you're getting the complete story. This one felt like 2 stories, which was a little weird.
I can see that. It did feel like 2 stories. I mean, I can see how they go together, but like it's still like 2 stories.
Yeah, they went together pretty well. Like the first one was her being reintroduced and meeting up with a new villain in a silver suit called Simon. I just want to give a shout out to hi Simon. You were included in DC Comics. You've been immortalized. And then the second one was her dealing with the World Killers. But I don't know. What did you think about the 2 stories and stuff, Jim? About whether or not it was disjointed or it felt a little weird?
It didn't feel too disjointed to me. I'm used to reading trade paperbacks, so maybe that's just me. I don't normally read the straight up comics. But yeah, well, it was interesting. I guess I could see it feeling a little bit disjointed here and there. But at the same time, it felt like a logical extension of, okay, she's going from this to this to this to that, and like she's kind of, fighting off multiple enemies at one time, then all are interested in this new kid in town. So I kind of feel like, oh, she just got away from one, but now here's this additional threat. So yeah, you couldn't have split it into 2 and worked into 2 different stories, but at the same time, it kind of rounded about nicely and got back to Simon at the end there. So I thought it was kind of a nice, sort of like just almost a diversion from the main story and then back to the main story at the end.
Yeah, which like I said, it did work. I did like the story as it was. It just felt a little weird because normally, like, let's say, like for example, right here, which I do plan to review sometime in the future when I get like Volume 2 and some other stuff. But Batman Volume 1, The Court of the Owls, complete 100% story. And a lot of them with the trade paperbacks, like Flashpoint or something like that, it's a complete 1 story. This one felt like 2 in the middle, which reminds me of the old like Detective Comics and stuff, or Action Comics stuff where it's split. Which I didn't mind it though, to be fair.
I was going off of the comics that I've been reading. Besides this, which is Fables, like every chapter, even it's unnecessary, but they have like a little introduction of here's what happened in the last chapter. Like in case you're picking it up and I don't know, you open up the book and read from the middle, which I don't know why you do, but
That's
like,
not in case you read from the middle. That's because they do that with Fables because it's more of a intellectual story than other comic book stuff and all that, and there's so much stuff going on, and they realize some people, because that's from the issues. Some people may have bought issue 1, and then like later on when, say, like issue 2 came out, they may have forgotten a bit of issue 1, or if you're buying the trade paperback, read the first chapter, stopped, then come back to it like a week later or so, and you got time to read, and then you may have forgotten all of the intricacies of the story.
That's also true, because I read like a chapter a day. So, but I like that, and that's like almost like seamless for me. Like they know exactly, here's the thing, here's the thing. This one felt like 2 things, and it didn't feel like that, like, as integrated.
But I will say, they finally did something. They did something in this which I just kind of really loved, and I think you'll get a kick out of this, Marcus.
Was it the Krypton language?
Yeah, I've mentioned this on Skype before, but I loved what they did with Superman with the Krypton language. He speaks Krypton to Kara.
Okay.
And she doesn't believe she does not believe he's Superman. She's like, no, I can't be Kal-El. Because his accent, it sounds like he learned it from a textbook, like a farmer. And I'm like, that's brilliant, because that's literally what he did.
And he is a farmer.
Yes, but his accent and how he learned the text, it would literally be like, let's say, you picking up German and just starting to read now, like bits of it, and then in a few years' time trying to have a conversation with someone from Germany. It doesn't quite sound right.
Right.
Or like if you're speaking Spanish, you'd be like hola, amigo, wink, like, you'd be all like segregated in words.
Yeah, which I loved that. How about you, Jim?
Yeah, that was a pretty funny joke. I did like that. And they got to work that in with the whole Kryptonian thing. 'Cause honestly, I was never even sure that Superman actually spoke Kryptonian. I had never heard that actually mentioned in the comics before, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah, he can speak Kryptonian because he learnt it from like the holograms and stuff. But
right, yeah.
Yeah, but he doesn't bust it out all the time because, well, no one else understands.
Yeah, why would you need to? Exactly.
Yeah, but he started to learn it a while back, and he studied and stuff to just sort of have sort of a connection. So, and because some of the files are only in Kryptonian.
Right, which is fair enough.
Yeah, I just kind of like that. But I also liked the new guy, Simon. Although I thought his journey was a little weird.
Okay.
He's a guy in a suit, clearly like a businessman.
Yeah.
And
he's a Lex Luthor.
That's what you think. At first, you think he's going to be a Lex Luthor because he's a guy in a business suit. He's clearly been introduced for the first time in this story. I mean, I don't think he wasn't in the other continuity. He's a new 52 villain. So it looked like, oh, we're giving Kara her own Lex, fair enough. By the end of the story, he's given himself this weird body. So suddenly he's no longer just a Lex. He has powers and stuff, and it's like, I'm curious.
What do you mean a weird body?
He puts his head, when he's all scarred and stuff at the end, he puts it on that like body that she's fighting, that alien thing, that jelly body.
He refuses to die. Like.
Yeah, the jelly body.
Fair enough.
Do you remember the blue jelly she was fighting that started to suffocate her?
Oh, is that what that was? I didn't realize that was what that was. I didn't make that connection.
Yeah, he puts that on him right at the end, and he gets the new body, and it looks weird but awesome.
The brain thing. Yeah, I think that's necessarily the same body, just more that they use the same technology they used to create the brain to save him.
Yeah, it might not be the same body because I think she may have destroyed the other one, but it was an interesting twist when they did that. When they just put his head onto that body, I was like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, they had no choice. They had to keep him alive.
They didn't have to. He kind of demanded it to be so.
Yeah, which, like I said, that's where his story ends, and that's right before the World Color story, which is halfway through the book.
Yes, but I did like how they connected the two with the journey about the red, what do they call that thing, the Sunstone? I thought they connected the journey with the whole Sunstone deal. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and I thought it was cool. At the end, he's like, I'm looking at it right now. He's like, oh, I win. He's grinning. He's got like the missing eye, and he's scarred. He's bald, and he's got like this alien body that's clearly going to evolve to have limbs and stuff. And I'm like, I like how that goes.
Yeah. And he get,
which is also funny.
Technically, it depends on if he can make himself a better body, because he could technically clone a Kryptonian body for Supergirl's DNA and then just put his brain in it if he wanted to.
Yeah. if he knows how to perfect that. But
Yeah.
it's like that's kind of cool, and that's how that story, the first half ended with him being, I won, and
I
the
win.
other story ends. Oh, I win, yeah, and the other story ends with Kara saying, "I saved this place, mother, father, just for today. I won." So she's actually kind of like him in some
Yeah.
if you go that regard. But I kind of like those two. But what did you think about the World Killers, Jim?
Needed more Doomsday. But anyway, yeah, I like the fact that these interesting, powerful enemies that she had to fight off. And it was kind of an interesting challenge for her to see her try to push around to defeat these four and overcome her limitations in her powers. Didn't like the Man of Steel level destruction to Metropolis again.
True, but that's what happens when Superman went against Doomsday.
True.
This is a group of Doomsday.
There's
True.
secretly a super carpenter that repairs everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's how Batman gets his money. Wayne
There you
Tech's the one that repairs everything.
There you go.
He's like, hey, Clark, yeah, can you do us a favor? What's up? Next time you or your cousin, or even your little stupid dog, next time any of you are in fights in the middle of the city, yeah, can you just try and break a type of building where Wayne Tech's going to be needed to repair all the computer systems and stuff? I'd really appreciate it. I mean, Batarangs don't pay for themselves. I kind of want that in a comic. But no, yeah, I like the World Killers. I like the female one as well, and it's like that was cool where you had the World Killers, and I liked they left Doomsday out of it, so it's like there's one missing, so you know it's Doomsday. When he comes in, he's going to be Clark's villain. But these ones, this whole group have a connection with her, so it's not just, oh look, she's fighting a Doomsday. She's fighting a group with unique personalities and unique strengths and weaknesses and stuff.
Yeah.
That, but tied to Doomsday, that kind of makes them interesting. I like that.
Yeah, it worked.
She had a very cool character design.
Yeah, she does. And also, technically, I think that whole thing applies to. I think the whole thing applies anyway because, as I established playing last night, when I got to the Paris level, Lego Batman already had a Wayne Tech truck in Lego Paris as it was being attacked by Brainiac that had his conveniently placed suit in it.
It did. But yeah, with the stuff, like I said, they played with some stuff. Like I loved the fact with the New 52 story, because I'm going to use Marcus as an example because I know he hasn't read the New 52 story.
Okay.
Marcus, who are Supergirl's enemies?
No idea.
She doesn't really have many.
Not really. It's mostly Superman's enemies, to be honest.
She mainly faced either Superman's enemies or enemies like Banshee, who could go to other people and stuff, or she faced like female Bizarro, like Bizarro Girl and stuff. And it's like, and she did have some unique enemies, but they were never. They didn't feel like they had staying power. Some of them were introduced just for an arc, killed, and then that was it. This one, it seems like if they've introduced two right out the bat, like the group of Doomsday, and her own like monsterish Lex. That's kind of cool. She has her own villains.
And they're specifically related to her. Like, they don't have like the passion or the reasoning to go after other people specifically besides her. You know, it makes sense.
Yeah, except for the Doomsday group of the World Killers, they could arguably go after Kal-El as well.
Yeah, that would arguably make some level of sense.
Although I kind of want to see them become. I mean, this may sound weird, but I don't know if this happens or not. But to use Dragon Ball analogy here, I kind of want that group to become essentially the Ginyu Squad.
I knew that was coming.
I did not know what that is.
Darkseid's Frieza. So you can do Darkseid stories without actually having to always use Darkseid and have him defeated.
That
What's
could work.
a Ginsu whatever?
I don't know what Ginsu is. What's a Ginsu are you?
I don't know what you're saying.
The Ginyu Force was a group of like underlings for Frieza. They're like the most powerful in the universe, and basically, I'm not about the joke aspects of them. I don't want them to dance and stuff, but basically, they were the minions to the boss.
Like, I don't know. I'm just thinking of like, I don't know.
Koopaling, the Koopa.
Oh, like, okay.
There we go. Well, that'll explain it.
Yeah, see, you have to use words her simple brain can understand, Mole.
No, I just didn't see Dragon
No,
Ball
she
Z,
hasn't.
dummy.
She hasn't seen Dragon Ball Z, so.
Yeah.
Ryan, what do you think about that, Jim? About that group being used by Darkseid as like a squadron to take people out without, so you don't have to always have Darkseid defeated.
That could be awesome. The only problem I see with that is I don't necessarily see them, or specifically their leader chick, kowtowing to Darkseid.
See, I kind of don't, but I kind of do because it's in the film as well, Batman, Superman, Apocalypse. Everyone should totally check that out. But in the comics as well as Superman, Batman, they managed to. Darkseid's been able to basically corrupt Supergirl before now, which means someone as pure-ish as Supergirl got corrupted. I think the evil where we just want to sort of destroy worlds and be a group together kind of would probably go with Darkseid if he manipulated them enough.
Fair enough.
And I could also see Darkseid using them for their purpose, similar to how Frieza used the Saiyans. And I know you haven't seen Dragon Ball Z, but sending them off to go and destroy planets for him and stuff, that would totally work.
Mm-hmm.
But now the big one on the mind, I showed it to Marcus, so I'll let him go first with this one. The suit.
Ah, yes, the suit. That would be the image that you showed me before we started recording, yes?
Yes.
That's a pretty cool
suit.
That's a pretty cool looking suit. I like the S. The emblem is cool. The cape does look kind of cool. I don't know that I like the fact that it wraps around, but as you mentioned, it's like a Kryptonian like uniform. So okay, fair enough. It's kind of like the color on the uniform. I'm okay with that. The only other issue I take with that outfit, but it kind of works because it's New 52, is her leg wrappings. It reminds me too much of like classic Wonder Woman. But I know in New 52, Wonder Woman wears proper boots instead of leg wrappings, so I guess it works.
To be fair, they are boots. They just have the leg wrappings at the top of the boots. But yeah, I can see that. Yeah, like that. I liked the cape and stuff because of how they did it. I loved, like I pointed out to you and I showed it you, the emblem for Supergirl is different to Superman. They have their own unique emblems this time. That's cool.
Yeah.
But
I like her outfit. Seems, I don't know. It seems like to demand more respect. You know. I don't know. It looks like something really to be taken seriously, and it looks awesome. Like, not that I don't know, not that Superman's doesn't, but right off the bat, even if I didn't know who she was, I'd be like, whoa, that's someone you got to take seriously right now. She's not fucking around.
Yeah.
The other thing I'm not sure if I like too much or not is the coloration of the cape, because it's
red and
like
yellow?
red, black, red, black, and gold. Isn't there some black in it too?
No.
I think the black's more. Sorry, you go, Jim.
It's red with a yellow trim along the edge of the whole thing. The black's is mostly where the shadowing is on it.
Yeah, the black is mostly shadowing, because to be fair, the picture when I showed Marcus, it was her in space.
Oh, well, yeah, then that would be, yeah.
But yeah, because the black's more like Superman's cape, where you got darkness and black to highlight certain elements and shadow and effects, but it's not meant to be black, if that makes sense. But
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, I like that. I also like the fact she doesn't have a skirt this time. It's all like a one piece, besides her boots, but it's all like a one piece, which totally works because, as I've pointed out in the past before now, of Supergirl, how silly is it that she would be flying overhead and people could just look up and look up a skirt?
Right, and I'm looking at the image now. You're right; it's not black, but now looking at the image, that brings another kind of questionable thing I have on her.
Okay.
What's up with the red thing that's supposed to be a belt? It looks like she's wearing a cod piece.
It's like just a bottom. It's like a pattern, just like the bottom of her like a bathing suit bottom.
Yep. It's just a pattern. It's all one piece of material.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
thing is, it looks weird because they don't. It's not on a skirt because they don't have the skirt, so it looks like she's wearing a cod piece because it doesn't go all the way up around like her hips or anything. It just stops. Like, wait, so you're wearing a cod piece? Wonderful.
See, I wouldn't really call it a cod piece because, to be fair, that is like the bottom of an actual bikini or
Yeah.
like a one-piece bathing suit. So
Oh,
it's
fair
just
enough.
it's more like that. But yeah, it does look a little weird. Though it's cool she has that and Superman doesn't.
Yeah.
That's another
I feel-
differentiation.
Yeah, I feel if they were gonna do something like that, and if they wanted it as a like a design for the bottom of it, they should have made it line up with her bikini line, with where the suit stops. The fact that it's over the line of demarcation on her suit and actually like on her leg and stuff makes it look like it's something that's fitting over the suit. That's why I said it looks like a cod piece because it looks like it's something that's between her legs and sitting on the surface of the suit and her leg.
Yeah, it does kind of look like that. To be
In
fair.
all fairness, if you get another angle of her later in the book, that piece does go all the way around, and then the red part covers her ass too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it does go all the way around. It's the entire bottom of the thing.
Yeah, it's the entire bottom of her suit, which, yeah, and Jim has the comic in front of him as well.
I do. I'd also like to say for the record, also, Alfred, the one thing I disagree with, why the fuck do you need your boots to come up to your thighs and then have your knees exposed? The hell's up with that?
Because so you can, if you have your knees exposed and you have one that goes up to your thigh, you're not implemented by bending your legs.
Number one, she's Supergirl, so exposed or not, she's not going to get hurt. Number two, it's probably a fashion statement.
No, like if you have like boots that don't expose your knees while going up to your thigh, you can't bend your legs. You're going to be really stiff. But if you have like the room to bend your knees, you can actually still move and relatively have like more bending knee function while still wearing high boots.
Yeah, there's that, and there's also the aspect of it was made on an
Fashion,
alien
yeah.
planet. So,
There's that too,
Fair
yeah.
enough.
but yeah, since you have that in front of you, what did you think of his weird-looking alien body? If you got there about halfway through.
Yeah, it looks weird. I agree. It's just kind of a bizarre thing there. It looks kind of like the body of the brain, but obviously without the brain. So how clear they're using the same technology to keep them alive. So that's kind of interesting to see how that'll play out.
It does, and I'm like, I kind of like the idea that he's not just a lax ripoff, and I was like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It reminded me a little bit. I can't believe I'm going to say this. Does anyone remember the Smythe story in the '90s Spider-Man cartoon?
Vaguely, I remember a dude in a wheelchair that built spider robots.
Yeah, and at one point he then suddenly got mutated and suddenly got extra stuff. Not the one that got mutated down one side, but he got proper mutated. Became like more physical and stuff. I was like, that totally works.
I don't recall that because most of what I know about that character is from the '90s cartoon.
I was on about the '90s cartoon.
Oh, okay. I thought you about the comics.
No. Marvel comics in the '90s was probably best avoided, like the plague.
Fair enough.
Or like Marvel comics now.
Fair enough.
But yeah, like I said, for an introduction story, I thought this was really well. Was there anything you wanted to add, Jim?
No, just that it was a really good story, a really good setup for a new hero that had enough connection to her more well-known cousin, but at the same time established herself separately and her own unique her own unique look at the world and at Earth and how her universe is without Krypton versus how Kal-El took in the world without Krypton. So it's kind of interesting to see. I like it.
It's also worth noting as well, because you have it in front of you, Jim. Look at the beginning when she's fighting Superman in like the white bit, when she's fighting him in like the snow and the trees. It's not too far into it. It's like within the first quarter. It's like after she fights the robot.
Okay. Let's see. Robot. Superman saves her.
Yeah, but even that bit would do. You see how bright it looks and how the artwork looks?
Yeah.
I'll skip to anywhere past the halfway point and look at the art. That's different art.
Yeah, that's why there's three guys on the front, because one guy did the art for the first half, the other guy did the art for the second half.
Yeah, which I was just pointing that out for the people listening, because that's something that they kind of did with Supergirl in the previous comics, which I don't mind it. In the previous continuity of Supergirl, the artist would change every few comics or so. Like they're using Supergirl to test out the new writers and new comics on, and it seems like with this one, they're not. They've got a more honed in vision, but they're not afraid to just let the artists experiment before they move them on their bigger name titles, which I like Supergirl. She's my favorite, her and Nightwing and stuff. But I don't see a problem doing that because I understand not as many people are going to buy Supergirl as they will Superman. So you need to try these people out before you put them on Superman or Justice League or Batman or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's understandable.
And it should be noted that actually it's not just maybe he changed the art a little bit, but the other distinction is that while Mahmoud Asrar was the artist for the version of the book, there were different inkers. Dan Green did the ink for parts 1 and 2, whereas Bill Reinhold was the inker for the additional art in part 3. So that might be why there was a difference.
Yeah, it could be that as well.
And also two different colorists. Dave McCaig was the colorist for the earlier parts, and Paul Mounts was the colorist for the latter. So might have something to do with the multiple guys working on it.
Yeah, it's like I said, it could be that as well, because when you look at the art early on, which could be just the colouring and stuff as well, with like the extra black tints and the brightness and stuff, it has more of a old school comic mixed with manga-ish vibe to it. And then later on, it's more serious, proper, more realistic colouring and placement and stuff. So yeah, it could be the inking as well. But did you have anything else to add to it, Thingy Pew Pew?
No.
You didn't want to give a final thought?
Oh, I thought you meant just on the costume.
No, I was on the comic in general, because like Jim gave his final thought as well.
Well, on the comic in general, I particularly liked it, and since I usually don't like Superman, Supergirl's pretty cool, and I actually found her entire story and struggle very interesting and engaging, and also relatable. So I don't know. So it's nice to it's nice to like some other DC comics and not hate on the super people side.
Was it relatable because, like you, she's also a girl who, when she speaks, no one can understand her?
Fuck off.
There's just no need. I was just getting to the heart of the issue.
I don't know. It's a lost girl. She doesn't know what's going on around her.
Yeah, I was kidding. They do make that. That's one of the reasons I love Supergirl. Is basically like what when Spider-Man's done right. She's the everyman or every girl. Therefore, a lot more relatable than I'm perfect and I'm in a suit working at a newspaper company. It's like, no, fuck off. Superman gets too righteous at times, which means with Supergirl, I kind of like the fact she's discovering herself as well as what she can do and stuff with the reader. That does make the journey more enjoyable. But what did you think about what you heard here today, Marcus? The image and stuff.
And I think we should tell the viewers if they haven't figured it out by now, because I don't think anyone said it. Yeah, I haven't read this. I don't own it. But oh, did you? I didn't hear that part.
I mentioned at the beginning. I said special guest Mark Shadow, and I mentioned because he hadn't read it. So
fair enough.
But yeah, if you hadn't.
But yeah, it sounds cool. I like the fact that they're giving her own rogues gallery now. I hope that's a trend that continues. It sounds like the villains that they've given her thus far are pretty good and unique. I would like to read this comic because I've always been a fan of Supergirl. I've never read a lot of her comics, but I followed her like when she was in Superman, in the Superman comics and stuff. I like the outfit. It's a cool outfit. It's a new outfit, so it'll take some time to grow on me, but I like it. And it sounds like they're portraying her pretty well too, which is good. Not making her your stereotypical, blonde bimbo.
Yeah, to be fair to Supergirl, they very rarely make her the stereotypical blonde bimbo. She's normally just an average teenage girl, which is normally wonderful. Except for sometime in the 90s, where for some reason she did steroids and was more bulked than Ryback.
Yeah.
And had a mohawk and threw Superman through a building. While going,
Or when they made her some sort of malleable metamorphic alien. I'm like, the fuck is this? Like during the whole like death of Superman stuff, and when she was like Luthor's pet, I'm like, wait, what? How is this Supergirl? This makes no sense.
Yeah.
Her name is Matrix. I'm like, what?
Yeah, which means it wouldn't have been Kara, thank God.
No,
But
it wasn't.
I will, which is another thing I will say. Supergirl to me needs to always be Kara.
Yeah.
Because they've had other ones like Linda and stuff. I don't like them as Supergirl. I liked Linda's white costume, which they kind of used in the animated series. It was kind of cool, not as good as the actual Supergirl costume. But overall, whenever I'm looking at them, I'm like, fuck off. You're not Kara. Don't use the Supergirl name.
Yeah, it's got to be Kara Zor-El.
Yep. But yeah, I was your host, Chriz, aka the Mole, for this one. It's from the sound of it, everyone liked it. I love this comic, as I mentioned. I'm a big Supergirl fan. I really do like Supergirl. I will be sticking with this and buying these all the time, I will start buying more of these and stuff and reading more on the New 52 Supergirl on the stuff I've missed and all that. But totally check out New 52 Supergirl Volume 1. This is the trade paperback we've had. It is available now in all good places, on all good places where you can buy books, also known as Amazon.
And libraries.
Yeah, no, we don't. No, libraries don't exist anymore. No,
What?
I'm kidding. Libraries still exist. Check out libraries. Hey, who knows? When you go to your local library, you may be greeted with, "Hi, ladies and gentlemen." When I rise from the back of the library, as he goes to the back of the library. Because that's totally how he acts. That's totally how Jim acts. He totally does the hand gesture while on Heelys and just slides backwards for effect.
There you go.
Show me your library card.
Yeah, as he sometimes goes all the way backwards, leans up right next to people in the library and goes, excuse me. When they go, yeah, is anyone invading your personal space? Okay, he doesn't do that. But no. Check out your libraries. Check out on Amazon. Hell, you can even do it digitally through stuff like Comic Taxology, which is ironically owned by Amazon. But but also check out bookstores in your local area, like my bookstore. Well, not my bookstore. Technically, it's my record shop now sells the trade paperbacks. Or, because a load of you live in America, comic book shops. But yes,
we don't have those or at least not very often. They're hard to find, and bookstores are also hard to find.
To be fair, you live in the middle of nowhere. It's like when I went over to America, when I went down to like near Florida, there was like 4 or 5 fucking comic shops all near each other. I couldn't stop going in them. I was like, I was like, no, I don't have the suitcase to bring back this giant Venom statue.
Yeah, Stacey, to make your point, out there maybe, but you used to live here. Barnes & Noble is right over by Lowe's, and there's a comic shop on 9W in Middle Hope.
Yeah, you need to come over here, Mole. I need to show you the comic book.
That's one. That's one comic book shop in Middle Hope, and not like our town, city of Newburgh. There's none.
That's because there's nothing in the city of Newburgh because it would get robbed.
Yeah, but anyway, I will say there was one within her driving distance. But yeah, you can check them out and check out all the official releases. That was Supergirl Volume 1, New 52. See ya, and thank you for watching DCember.